So in continuation with employment, we are doing informalization of workforce. And in this, we're going to talk about factors responsible for informalization of workforce. So just to look at these factors, I'm going to discuss it a little. Like, what are the factors responsible for informalization of workforce? So in this, we find that pressure to cut in costs. So after the introduction of the economic reforms since 1991, Indian economy is dominated by the forces of competition. Each producer tries to produce at minimum possible cost of production. To achieve this goal, producers opt for modern technology, which provides for increasing substitution of labor for capital. That means they want more capital and less labor. So they prefer to employ casual workers so they can be relieved from work at will. So whenever it's needed, they get the workers casual terms. So that is and not on regular terms. And the second, and in this we can say that in fact, informalization is driven by the forces of supply and demand in the labor market. So, and the new economic reforms or the policy of 1991 of liberalization, privatization, and globalization, there was a significant transformation or change from a controlled economy to a market economy. And market economy in its wake brought competition. And well, then we've seen what happens is that what happened, and informalization of workforce is going on since then. Our formal sector hasn't grown, which is a sad thing. Then another factor, other factors could be relaxation and the labor laws. So labor laws also have been relaxed, which permit retrenchment of labor. It was not possible in the controlled protected economy of the past. So producers do not employ regular workers. So this happened, and again the supply of labor, like we have this population problem. The supply of labor everywhere far exceeds the demand for it. So this is because of the reason that adequate employment opportunities could not be created in our economy, despite there has been a good growth of GDP, gross domestic product. So that is how the employers now could go in for informalization. They would resort to informalization. So that is there, and it has been found that regarding informalization, that there have been other examples too. For example, let's take the informalization in Ahmedabad in the 1980s. So a prosperous city with its wealth based on the produce of more than 60 textile mills with a labor force of 150,000 workers employed in them. These workers had over the course of century acquired a certain degree of income security. They had secured jobs with a living wage. They were covered by social security schemes protecting their health and old age. They had a strong trade union which not only represented them in disputes but also ran activities for the welfare of the workers and their families. In the early 1980s, textile mills all over the country began to close down. In some places such as Bombay, the mills closed down rapidly. In Ahmedabad, the process of closure was long drawn out and spread over 10 years. Over this period, approximately over 80,000, that means 80,000 permanent workers and over 50,000 non-permanent workers, they lost their jobs. and were driven into the informal sector. So that is informalization. The city experienced an economic recession and public disturbances. That means there were communal riots. A whole class of workers was thrown back from the middle class into poverty and into the informal sector. There was widespread alcoholism and suicides. Children were withdrawn from schools and sent to work. So this little uh, uh, instance tells us that informalization is breeds so much of problem, and we should be on a path towards formalization of workforce, and what we see has been an informalization.